It may be the day of the NBA draft, but we have a blockbuster trade to report as the Boston Celtics have acquired Kristaps Porzingis. So in today's video, Pips is joining me to break down how this affects the NBA and if this really makes the Celtics the championship favorites. You're getting our first reaction to this massive trade here on the board. So make sure you drop a like if you enjoy or rate and review 5 stars and subscribe or follow for more content just like this one. But blockbuster trade on the day of the draft. I guess technically this may have been the day before the draft, but regardless, we have a 3-team deal here that we're going to be talking about. Kristaps Porzingis, as you saw in the thumbnail and title, is on the Boston Celtics. Massive move there by Boston. Also in this deal, they'll get the 25th overall pick for today's draft. They'll also get a 2024 first-round pick, both of those via Memphis. Memphis are getting Marcus Smart, and the Wizards are getting, in this clean house move, they're getting Tyus Jones, a good point guard, Danilo Gallinari for salary, Mike Muscala, and the 35th overall pick from Boston. So this was a very, very interesting situation here. A trade fell through that involved Porzingis, but within an hour, they had a new trade partner. Instead of the Clippers getting Brogdon, it is the Grizzlies getting Smart. Pips, let's go over to you. Pips NBA on Twitter. Your first reaction to this trade, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is such a great, weird trade because it's 1 hour after the first one, the initial one was declined because the Brogdon health is not there for the Clippers, and yeah, they wanted to get rid of Brogdon the way they always do. They had always some players with injuries, like Isaiah Thomas a couple of years ago, trying to get rid of injured players in that way. And fortunately, Clippers recognized it and gave up. And almost like an hour later, they had a new trade ready. That, as you said before we spoke, maybe they had it trying to do it, that trade before this one, or some other trade on the side. So it was that's why probably it was so quick. But yeah, I just love this trade for Boston Celtics. I'm kind of like it for Memphis Grizzlies and Wizards. There is nothing to like there, but they are on the way to just get rid of everyone and start tanking and to get some good young players. It is what it is. Porzingis had the option to, and they didn't have any edge on this deal. So not much Wizards could do. And on the other side, Memphis got good player. Brooks probably won't be back there, and Smart is a great replacement playing next to Ja Morant. I think that's the way they were looking at it. Some point of attack defender and some good defensive player. And also some good mentality for the locker room. They had so many issues, especially Ja. So having a very experienced player there could help. And Boston completely won this trade. It's so for such cheap, getting disgusting. A great player. Yeah.
They got a great player in Kristaps. We'll talk a bit later about why we're so high on Kristaps Porzingis. But before that, the Marcus Smart fit in Memphis, I like it. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm very high on Tyus Jones, and Memphis gave up 2 first-round picks to get him. Like, that just seems like too much. Way too much for Marcus Smart. You mentioned it. We were texting before, but you mentioned that most GMs are higher on Smart than like the average NBA crowd, and particularly us. But even still, like, I think Tyus Jones is like the best backup point guard in the league, one of the best at least, and 2 first-round picks.
I'll just say, I hope my Rockets make some calls and try to get Tyus Jones to start for us or run the
bench. I think a lot of teams could use Tyus Jones as their starting point guard. So to have to give up 2 first-round picks in order to make this happen as well, that was a bit surprising. On the Wizards side of things, oh man, Bradley Beal. Sorry, go ahead.
I will also say, with the Wizards giving out players so cheaply, Tyus Jones could be maybe available for 2 seconds
like nothing,
or one young player in 1 second. Yeah, and they have now Monte Morris, Dylan Wright, Chris Paul, and Tyus Jones. And those are probably the 4 most wanted point guards in the entire offseason. So they will be getting calls all day for this. Like I would love to have Monte Morris on any contending team. I would love to have Dylan Wright on any contending team. I will also love to have Chris Paul and Tyus Jones. Like
I think a Chris Paul buyout is something that could happen, and if he gets bought out, I know a team who could use a new point guard, and that's Boston. So they could end up getting Chris Paul out of this situation as well. Going further on Washington, though, Porzingis and Beal traded, and they didn't get a single first-round pick. I understand from the Kristaps standpoint, he had a player option that he wasn't going to take, but he was going to take if he got moved to the Boston Celtics. So there was not much leverage there, but no first-round picks out of those two. I get it's new management, but even considering from the last management, they let this happen. They let him get to free agency. Kyle Kuzma just walked away for free, so you get nothing from him as well. And the new management, I get it. They're like trying to start completely fresh. They're not going to let the previous management's mistakes cause them any trouble as they look to rebuild this team going forward. But I think they've mishandled their assets quite substantially so far in this new tenure, but a whole lot of time to make it right. And like you said, they've got players that they can get some value out of. Tyus Jones has value. DeLon Wright has value for sure as a backup guard, as a big backup guard. So it'll be interesting to see how that all goes down.
I would like to say, like, what's the young core for the Wizards? They have Corey Kispert, Danny Avdija, Daniel Gafford,
and the eighth pick today.
Yeah, Johnny and 8th pick today. Like,
Johnny Davis is right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
but that's not promising. That's not promising at all.
This team is going to be shooting for that first overall pick next season. That's sure.
They could be dead last next season.
Yeah, I wonder if we spoke about in our mock draft yesterday. I spoke about Anthony Black going 8th overall. I wonder if this changes based on the amount of guards on this team, and if they go in a different direction. I could see them pulling for a forward. I could see them having a big interest in Jarris Walker if Jarris Walker is there at 8 still. I think that
also
changes.
There's now biggest talent on the team is Danny Avdija. And he's very similar type to Black. Like, good defensive player, can shoot, good playmaker. Like, I don't think I see a fit for Black moving forward unless there are some other deals made. So it will be interesting to see what they do, what they go with their 8th pick.
Yeah, that changes a lot. But let's focus on the superstar portion of it. Not superstar, but the star portion of this trade. Kristaps Porzingis is on the Boston Celtics. Obviously unhappy with the way the past 2 seasons have ended. Really had a good chance to win the championship 2 years in a row. They're up 2-1 against the Warriors and lost in 6 in the finals in 2022. This season, they lost to the 8 seed Miami Heat. Obviously, not your typical 8 seed, but you had to have favored Boston by quite a bit going into that series. And now they're adding in Kristaps Porzingis to add into the front court, who is aging, who has had injuries here, along with these picks, which is tremendous. But talk to me a little bit, Pips, about Porzingis' fit in Boston and if you like it.
I love it. So especially my way of thinking of this is they will play Rob Williams at 5, starting him at 5. This is the season for him. Yeah. Porzingis at 4, which opens up the thing. Tatum at 3, Brown at 2. So getting rid of Marcus Smart is just the thing. They won't play 2 guards like they did usually. Yeah. So they will just have Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White compete for the first guard position. Brown at the shooting guard, Tatum at small forward, Porzingis at 4, and Rob Williams at 5. You have perfect replacement at Al Horford of the bench, getting a bit setting up old Al Horford for deeper into the season, which he is still a great player, but they need to play him a bit less. This could be an end for Grant. I don't see a spot for him moving forward. And I kind of love it. They are now even bigger with this, and they can do it because they have tremendous defense. With Porzingis, they can play him at 5 and the 4. So much more versatility in their lineups. They can do with him at 5. Great catch and shoot shooter, great mid-range shooter. Like he gives them so much, and then that opens up the driving lanes for Jaylen Brown, for Malcolm Brogdon, for Derek White, for Jason Tatum a lot. And on defensive end, they can play Porzingis at 5 and Rob Williams at 4, which kind of gives Rob Williams his best position. That's like roaming around and helping out of the opponent worst shooter. And Porzingis, as we can see in the numbers, had tremendous season defending in drop coverage. That's this first 99% of ring points saved and 99% of was expected. And points are low per pick and roll. As we can see, he's fourth behind Anthony Davis, Steven Adams, and Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
And like these are great players. So his defense, unbelievable. He improved so much in the on offense in post scoring. He's legit role option, off the ball catching and attacking closeouts, and pop option. So he gives them a lot on both sides of the court. They can play so many different coverages, so many different offensive. Like there are not many bigs in the league that can pop and roll almost the same value. That's kind of huge. And also he can score in post ups and can attack the closeouts, and that's huge. He was especially impressed me with attacking the closeouts the last season. They had some good of offense around through Kristaps Porzingis, and 40% on catch and shoot, 47% from corners, like unbelievable season for Kristaps Porzingis. And first time after the injury, he played 65 games, and that's huge.
Yeah, and just for our audio listeners here, he was the top post scorer in the league, marginally ahead of Nikola Jokic. So the top post scorer in the league, plus the defense has really grown. This is a great fit for the Boston Celtics here. The spacing is key as well, obviously, for Brown and Tatum. And we saw how the three-point shooting really fall off for them in the playoffs near the end against Miami. This could help out with that. But the injury concerns have to still be here a little bit. He had 65 games for the Wizards, but before that, it was 51, 43, 57. That was coming off the ACL injury. So it will be interesting to see if he can remain healthy. But if he can, Boston, who are one of the best teams in the league, still just got a whole lot better and lost very little in retrospect to this trade to make it happen. They traded Marcus Smart, and in the deal, they traded Marcus Smart and a 35th pick and got 2 first-round picks and Kristaps Porzingis. I think that is an absolute monumental win by Brad Stevens' management team. They got to be one of the favorites now for next season. And I'm excited to see just how, I don't like the Celtics, but I'm excited to see from a basketball standpoint how all of this is going to fit together and what it is going to look like. But overall, they are the winners for this trade. So I think that is all that we have for this one. That's all we got to say for this. If you guys have any thoughts, any opinions, make sure to comment them down below or hit us up on Twitter at @TheBoardHQ. Please make sure to drop a like and rate and review 5 stars, as well as subscribe and follow for more NBA content like this. We'll be reacting to some of the biggest news around the league with the NBA draft today. I'm sure more is to come, and I'm sure there's going to be some draft day trades that we need to discuss. So we will see you again next time.